And when I was asked to be on this panel, I had to think really hard about my clients from hell. I'm sure we've all had situations with clients where things haven't quite always gone to plan. And a few clients came to mind, nothing too big. But the first thing I thought about was that I'd never actually used that terminology before, a client from hell. Even when I've had situations with clients that have been quite difficult, it always made me think about how we got to that point and what we could get out of it. There are three little stories that I'll share with you. The first one was when I first started calling myself a financial planner. I just started doing cash flow modelling, and I'd got a really good client, investment banker, if you've ever had one of those. And I presented cash flow modelling to him and explained that I could model whatever scenario he wanted me to model for him. So he came back with an email with 25 different scenarios, all slightly different. What if I got a bonus of X amount each year? What if my bonus was this amount next year? What if the school fees were this? Tiny details. And at the time, I wasn't confident enough to say, sorry, I didn't quite explain it very well. Actually, that level of detail isn't going to help you. Really what we want to do is look at the bigger picture. We use cash flow modelling to give you an idea, but I didn't. Instead, I spent a whole weekend putting 25 scenarios together, which I then emailed to him, and he said, I don't really understand them all, can you go through them? So with that story, it got me thinking, how much of that was the client and how much of it was me? All of it was me, really. Because if you think about it, unless someone really isn't aligned to you, unless you're completely different personalities, there aren't really clients from hell. They're just clients. They're just people. And it's all about how you're going to be about it. So much of our interactions with people in our businesses are about emotional responses. And I've learned through the coaching work that I've done that the most valuable asset I have in my business are my client relationships. So I have to be constantly honing that skill on how I'm going to build those relationships. And a lot of it is about understanding myself and how I'm being, and understanding how my emotional responses are having an impact on my clients sometimes, but also understanding that when they come in with an emotion, sometimes it's going to be what I call a survival emotion. So when we interact with people, there's always this dance that we do while we try to figure out if actually there's a good fit there. I'm sure all of you know straight away when you sit down with a client if it's a good fit. In most cases, you know right at the beginning. But we do this dance to try and figure it out. And this is where our relationship skills come into play. Sometimes when a client comes to us, they come with something already there. It could be fear. Often it is. It could be anger. Something's just happened that they are angry about. Often it's shame, actually. They come in with an emotion that is classed as a survival emotion, and our job is to be able to move them from that survival response to an attachment response. And that's where our skill truly lies. And if I think about what financial planning encompasses, so much of the technical aspects of our job are things that we learn along the way. We take the exams, we do the qualifications, but the biggest development is actually in ourselves and our human interactions, and how by working on that relationship, we can really make a difference to people. Because it's relationship that is the conduit to change in the mind. So neurobiological change comes when you have an attachment relationship with someone. And so many people have said to me, Tina, you're straying into realms that are outside of financial planning, and you should really stick to what you're supposed to do. And my response is, how can I serve that person sitting in front of me? How can I do a job that I'm proud of and make a difference to that person, if I don't have the skills, if I don't have the courage to look at what they've brought to the table,